Hi there, Zam here for NerdTube. So one of my favorite genres is the crime drama, and we've got a brand new one right now. It's on Paramount Plus. It's called Mobland, and it's got a tremendously good cast in Pierce Brosnan, Tom Hardy, Helen Mirren, Paddy Considine, Jeff Bell. I see some other familiar faces, I'm sure, during the course of the show. There is one in this particular episode as well. I'll let you watch it to find out. But this is basically Paramount Plus's answer to Gangs of London, and it's very similar to Gangs of London as well. We have an Irish crime family in London, and that's pretty much what Gangs of London is as well. And this family is the Harrigan family. Pierce Brosnan is the Don Corleone of this family. He's the Godfather. He's the governor. He plays Conrad Harrigan. His wife is played by Helen Mirren. She plays Maeve Harrigan. The fixer, the guy Pierce Brosnan goes to get shit done, is Tom Hardy's character of Harry D'Souza. And I'm going to talk about him just very briefly. He's not a Cockney sort of geezer. He's more middle class, but he's very sophisticated, very talented, a smooth character, calm demeanor as well, but intimidating. He gets shit done, which is why he's always so relied upon. And we see that during the course of this episode. Now, I don't expect him to be calm all the time. I know there's a rage in there somewhere, and I look forward to seeing that being released at some particular point. Jeff Bell plays Richie Stevenson. That's the rival crime family. His youngest son and the grandson of Pierce Brosnan, Eddie Harrigan, they go out on a night out. But unfortunately, a guy gets stabbed by Eddie Harrigan, and when both the Stevenson and Harrigan boy runs away from the situation, the following day, only Eddie Harrigan is still around to tell the tale. The Stevenson boy isn't. So Richie Stevenson, the father of him, wants to know what the fuck is going on and knows that his son was hanging out with the Harrigan grandson and wants answers. And that causes a bit of an issue because the Stevensons and the Harrigans, they don't really get along. They're rival crime families. So this is causing even more beef. And that's pretty much the most we get regarding this episode, because there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be fleshed out. Now, the issue regarding the missing son doesn't get resolved in this episode. We do see some sort of but communication between the rival families in neutral ground at one particular point, but nothing gets necessarily resolved. But also in this episode, we kind of see who the Harrigans are, and they're a family that you don't want to fuck with. If they believe that you have been skimming from the top and taking advantage of them, they'll kill you. And we see that at the very beginning of this episode, and we see that at the end of this episode. Helen Mirren's character, she's a bit devious. She can like to whisper in your ear a few things, and that leaves some doubt. And she does that to her husband, Conrad. But Pierce Brosnan's not stupid regarding who his wife is. He knows who his wife is, and times gets pissed off with his wife because he's made him do something that he probably wish he never knew about, because it's probably ended the life of one of his long-term friends. Stuff like that. And you, it's all fascinating and interesting. I have to say that if the big name actors and the fact that I love this genre and some of the scenes in this episode were quite great, but regardless, there's something about it that felt okay. I hope things improve a little bit here and there, but it feels like it needs to. But it's not shit. It's far from it. But I'm not necessarily finding it absolutely amazing at the same time. Once again, the actors have really made a show like this have its head above water, because if it didn't have the solid cast that it does, I don't know how well this episode would, and this series might float. But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not amazing. So, with what I've explained to you regarding this first episode, which is not too much because it's really a pilot episode, it's all about fleshing characters out as well as getting a storyline going at the same time, I have to give episode 1 of season 1 a 7 out of 10, which is pretty good. And you have to understand, this is the pilot episode. There's some shows that when it comes to the opening episode, it just hooks you immediately and you know you're watching something really great. And then as the show progresses, unfortunately, the quality starts to dwindle, whilst other shows don't necessarily start too well, but it ends up finding their feet, and then maybe a season or two down the line is like when you get the really good stuff. I have no idea where this lands so far, but we are only on the pilot episode, and maybe the episode 2 might hopefully will improve things, or it might take a season to really improve things. But don't get me wrong, regardless of me making these sort of like negative comments, I'm still very much invested in this show. When you got actors like this and you got a genre like this, if it's done reasonably well, it's gonna be fun, and I'm having fun so far. I just think it could be just a little bit better. Anyway, let me know what you think of Mobland. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest social media channel I've never heard of. There will be more reviews of this episode to come in the upcoming weeks, so keep an eye out on the channel and subscribe to us. And obviously click that notification button so you get news of the next episode. Bye bye.